Good morning. Ooh. God is good. He's not only good, he's awesome. He's amazing. I feel blessed and highly favored. I want to thank Jesus that I'm never alone because he's always with me. I want to thank a few people that I didn't know. One in particular person that I didn't know, he listened, he paid attention to me when I had to go to DCF, when I had to fight. My story is a little bit different from Johnny. Whew. My name is Barbara Turner. I am a mother. I am a grandmother. I'm a mother of 4, a grandmother to 24, and a great-grandmother to 16, with 2 more on the way. I have been blessed. I know what you might be thinking, but I have been blessed. In 1993, I gave birth. No, sorry. I wanted to say to Archbishop. And 49 years ago, I gave birth to my first child, my oldest daughter. So that's what I was doing 49 years ago. And you were saving souls. But in 1993, my oldest daughter, who I gave birth to in 1991, had her first child. And in 1995, I had to take custody of her. That was easy. The police called me and said, "Ms. Turner, you need to come to Flatbush Avenue and get your granddaughter if you want. If not, we're going to have to call DCF." At that time, they wasn't calling DCF so fast on you. So I was on Westbourne Parkway because that's where I lived. I flew, me and my 13-year-old son, put him in the car, and we flew over to Flatbush Avenue and picked up my granddaughter. And I never regretted that day. She was 2 years old. She has graduated from college, and I'm very proud of her. But in 1996, there was another baby born. And I went up to the hospital to see my second granddaughter that was born from my daughter. And I knew there was going to be a problem. So I left the hospital and went to probate court and got the paperwork. And I went back to the hospital and I told the mother, my daughter, and the father, you have 2 choices. One, you sign these papers and sign her over to me, or DCF is going to be here to pick her up. You only got 2. They signed the papers. And I thought that would be it. Well, Lord and behold, here come DCF. And I'm going to say her name, the worker. Her name was Alice. And she came and she basically told me that I couldn't take the baby from the hospital when she was to be discharged. So I was living in Windsor at the time, temporarily. So I went home and got the oldest granddaughter, her and my son. And we're in the house. Now here come DCL. And they show up with a Windsor police officer. Okay, what is this all about? DCF worker and investigator, because there was already another worker involved, but he knew that she was having another baby because I had let him know. So they came to get my first granddaughter. So why are you taking her? She told me I was charged with neglect. I'm looking around and I'm looking at my stomach and I'm like, I didn't have no baby. I didn't give birth to no baby, so who did I neglect? You didn't get a call about my oldest granddaughter. You got a call to the hospital for the baby in the hospital. So where's this neglect coming from? She couldn't explain it. But in the same token, I couldn't fight it or I'd go to jail. So she ripped my 2-year-old out my arm and took her away from me and my son. That was the first time I had ever felt hate. I hated this woman. And the thing was, she looked like me. She looked like me. And I think what happened was she got mad because I did a step before her. I didn't allow her to tell me what to do. I had already did it by going to probate court to get my child, my grandchild. But I hated her. And I had never felt hate because I wasn't taught to hate. So they took my grandchildren, they took the oldest one. The one good thing that they did was put them together in a foster home, but they didn't have to go to a foster home. I had my home. I had to go to church because I wanted to hurt this woman. I really did. And I never wanted to hurt anyone. I wasn't brought up like that. But I had to hurt that woman. I wanted to hurt that woman. So I went to church. I had to get that off of me. And I never want that to ever come back to me, ever again. Hate is a strong thing. So instead of the hate, God said, it's off you. Now you're going to fight. You're going to fight. So I fought. I fought hard. And they were both was able to come home to me. Don't clap, don't clap, don't clap. Wait a minute. Got some more to tell you. I just want to tell you this. Before you clap, don't clap. I've raised 7 grandchildren. I at one time had a house of 10. So there's more to this story. That was 1996. In 1998, another grandchild was born, another girl. They didn't take her. They sent her home to go get her the next day to bring her to me. And just left. You figure out how you're gonna, the finances. And that was no problem because I'm gonna do what I have to do. Number 2 baby, the one that was taken, and they came and got the oldest granddaughter, she was drug addicted. She went through withdrawals. I had never had a child or been with a baby who had the shakes. So I had to leave. I had to quit my job. I had to be a stay-home grandmother because she needed to be soothed and I needed to take care of her, and I know only I could. And God said, you got to stay home. You got to make it work. That meant I had to do a lot of sacrificing. This is my family. They're worth sacrificing. We know what it is to sacrifice. And as a mother, you know what it is to sacrifice. So that came easy. Things that I wanted, I couldn't get. Long as I was able to get for them. So now I have 3 granddaughters with me, along with my son. That was in 1998. Let's go forward. 2000, there's another baby born. Another baby girl. She was born actually in my house. I wasn't there. But every time my daughter got pregnant, I felt that I needed to watch her and I needed to know where she was. I needed to know when she would give birth to that child. So I kept her close. I wasn't under the realm of DCF, so I kept her close. I didn't leave the kids alone with her because I didn't know if she would get high with them around. And she was my daughter. And regardless, you love your children. I'm just not throwing my child away. But I had to protect the little ones. And that meant I had to protect before they even came into the world. So for someone to call me neglectful, so wrong. So she had the baby. I went to work part-time. I needed to. When you sitting home and they want to give you, 3 granddaughters, a son, and they want to give you $515, and that's for you to live on? Shut your mouth. I needed to go to work. So Target had opened out up in Manchester, so I got me a job at Target in the evening. And my other daughter would watch the kids while I went to work. But I always would tell them, if your sister is hungry or she needs to lay her head down, you let her come in. Because she was pregnant. This is November. Am I supposed to let this child have a baby out in the street? Am I supposed to let this child have a baby in a crack house? And my grandchild too? That wasn't going to happen. So I'm at work, stocking the shelves, and I get a call. Miss Barbara, you need to come to the front desk. So I go to the front desk. I said, oh, Lord, I'm making some money. I don't want to leave to go. I hope everything's all right. So I get to the desk. I answer the phone, and it's my daughter. Ma, she's having the baby, and she's having it right here. I said, well, okay, call the ambulance. So they did, but the baby did. The baby was born right there in the house, a little girl. And her 3 sisters, and I think there was 2 cousins over, and they sitting there looking. And it's funny because the older sister, she had dreams of she wanted to be a doctor. And I'll tell you about that. After seeing her mother give birth to a baby. So 2002, the other baby, the 4th baby, is born, a little girl. Can't get rid of them girls. And DCF takes her from the hospital. She tested positive. But they didn't bring her to me. They took her to a foster home. And I wasn't leaving her in no foster home either. That's the first time I met Michael Williams. He would meet me. And I guess never forget Barbara Turner, because I gave him holy Jesus. And I fought. And I heard one of the workers say, well, you have too many children. We don't think that you could take care of them. And for me, that was like something that Martin Luther King said. And I'm going to quote him. Nothing in the world is more dangerous than sincere ignorance and conscientious stupidity. And that was stupid. So she was undervaluing me. She underestimated me. And they were marginalizing me. Oh, Jesus. Not going to happen. Not to this grandma. God told me what he needed me to do, because I'm like, why am I taking all these kids? But they mine. They mine. That's my family. We have been separated. When my ancestors were taken from Africa and enslaved, I don't know. Did they have the children on the ship with them? Did they get separated? Did some of them have to taken off that ship and put in Jamaica? They were separated. No, they ain't happening. No, this is 2000. Nope. Nope, I'm fighting for them. And I didn't have such a good mouth back then either. I just want you to know, okay? I had some choice words, some real choice words. But I was getting mine. And that meant I had to go down to fill out whatever papers, stand in front of a judge. Yeah, I'm not scared to talk to anybody when it comes to mine. And I met Michael Williams. And that was my first encounter with Michael Williams. Then I believe it was in 2004. And please, y'all, don't say, because I know a lot of people say the apple don't fall far from the tree. Well, yes, it does. It rolls, and it keeps on rolling. Sometimes that apple is from another tree that is right there, so you don't know where tree it came off. So in 2004, I had another daughter, the youngest one. She's living up in Vernon. She leaves the kids home alone. And I think my oldest grandson, I think he may have been 11. They outside playing. Please come by, see them outside, because it's evening now. So they are removed. It's 4 of them. Now DCF is in a dilemma. Who they need? Who you think they needed? Who they needed? They needed me. So I get the call. And but I had a good worker back then too. So I had a real good worker. She told them that the best place for them to be. And if Miss Turner says she can do it, trust me, she can do it. And they came to me. They came to me. They didn't stay long, but they did come to me. So that meant I had 10 kids. And at the beginning, you have to take them to school because transportation isn't set up. So I think it was 3 of them that had to go to school in Vernon. My oldest granddaughter went to school on Prospect. She went to Shiloh Academy. It used to be Shiloh Academy. And the It was the 96 and the 98. They went to Montessori on Broad Street. So I had to transport. Now, you know that's a whole lot of different directions, right? And there's different times as well. And they weren't late times either. But I got them there. I know people were waiting on me to fail, not to get them into school. Oh, they was going to school every day. And God, he looked out for me. He did. Because sometimes I don't even know how I had money to put in the gas tank. But I did. He took me. He was right beside me each and every day, each and every step. And when I couldn't walk, he walked with me. He carried me. Then here I go again. It's not over. So they were removed. The four were removed. I hated that. And because the worker got mad with me, I needed respite. I just needed respite. It was coming Christmas. And I just needed a little break just before they go on that Christmas vacation. You know, that Christmas holiday, they be off of school. That's 10 kids in the house with one person. I just needed, just give me a week. You can give me a couple of days, but let me get it together here. I mean, I was already together, but I just need a little break. Because mind you, the four other ones wasn't going nowhere, okay? He didn't like that I asked for respite. So he had another plan. They went to respite. He didn't bring them back. I don't know what he told them, but he didn't bring them back. And they were determined to not bring him back. And a little bit of my fight had kind of stopped a little bit. It didn't completely stop, but I needed to refuel. And they ended up going back home. I put pressure on them too. They put them over there. Now what are you gonna do with these? What you gonna do with these four kids? Well, what foster home they going in? Because you better not separate them. So they ended up putting them in the safe home, which was the village. And I would go see them, and they would cry, and they wanted to come home with me, and I wanted them home with me too. But the fight, and they kept giving me all kinds of reasons. And trust me, when they came to my house, when I visited with them, and then finally they let them come to visit, and I checked them over too, just like you checked mine over to see if there was any bruises. I checked mine over too when they came to be with me. So, moving on from there, they ended up going home with their mom. But moving on, in 2005, my daughter gave birth to a son. They didn't put him in a foster home. Now, mind you, he tested positive. But they didn't take him from her. What they did was kept him with her. Do you know what that does to the kids that were in my home? Do you know what it did to him? And he not know it. They didn't cross their T's and they really didn't dot their I's. They just was mad with me because they knew I would fight if they even looked like they wanted to put him in the foster home. How come I have four of her children and I'm willing to take number 5 and you won't place him with me? So what they did was they traumatized him by leaving him there. So in 2008, she had another baby, a little boy. They didn't take him either. But let me tell you what they did, because that was spite for me. But let me tell you what they did do. In 2011, I had lost my mom. This was May. I was getting my oldest granddaughter ready for her prom, for her senior prom. And they already knew a secret. but I didn't know it. So I took her to get her makeup done, and her hair was done, and she was at the hairdresser to get her hair done. And when I was dropping her off, she said, "Mima, I gotta tell you something." I said, "What, Mimi?" She said, they took my brothers from my mother yesterday. It's like, I'm dropping this mic. Oh, Lord. Lord Jesus, I need you. Tell me what you want me to do. Tell me, show me. He did through them girls. Mima, will you take my brothers? Will you take our brothers? Will you bring them here with us? Whew. Yeah, I will. But mind you, I got to fight. I got to fight for them too. I did. I had to fight. That was a fight. That was really a fight. Because here I go. I hear. I didn't have the setup in the house, because there's some things that you have to have set up in your house in order to get either foster kids or your own. There's stuff you have to have in there. Now, mind you, this was on a Saturday. They were taken on a Friday. I didn't know. And I found out on a Saturday. And we didn't take nothing away from my granddaughter going to the prom, to her senior prom, because she deserved it. She truly deserved to go to this prom, and she was going to go, and she was going to be beautiful, and she was going to have fun. And I figured it out about the boys. And I did. I figured it out. So come that Monday, get them on their buses, get them to school. You know, now my 2-year-old, the first one, she's now a senior in high school, and going on to college. Dang, I got one down. I had 3 more to go. And here I go. I got 2 more, they're younger. So I fought for them, but I shouldn't have to do that. If I was willing and able, and I was willing and I was able, and you know, God bought things to make sure I had what I needed for them boys to come into my home. It wasn't DCF, it was all God. Because this is what he wanted me to do. I got one more part now, one more. 2012, my granddaughter had just finished up her first year of college. And she comes home and surprised me. She don't want to go back to Boston. She wants to go to Louisiana. Oh, Lord Jesus. And I believe in you don't block no one's blessings. And I wasn't going to block hers. She had already did what she needed to do. All she needed to do was get there. And I'm like, well, I can't ship your stuff. You can't get new stuff because all that is new. How we going to get it there? My brain goes to working. I had a van. I would get a hitch on my van and get a trailer on my van, and I'm going to drive her there. But before we do that, her mom had another baby number 7. Another girl. I didn't get to see her in the hospital. She was removed from the hospital and put into a foster home. And I wanted to see my granddaughter. And I wanted my granddaughter. And I had to fight for that. I had to fight to see her, to visit her, and I had to fight to get her. But I got her because of God. So I want to say to DCF and to Archbishop, you are a blessing. I never would have imagined that I would ever speak my truth to no one other than God, because He knows my truth. But you opened up the door. Michael, you opened up the door by calling me last minute. Called me last minute. Archbishop, John couldn't say it any better. You are amazing. You are amazing for giving me this platform to tell my story. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart. I really do. Thank you so much. Thank you all.